Coverdale Bible, The Acts of the Apostles, written by St. Luke the Evangelist. What the Acts contain. Chapter 10. The vision that Peter saw, how he was sent to Cornelius. The heathen also receive the Spirit and are baptized. The 10th chapter. There was a man at Caesarea named Cornelius, a captain of the company, which is called the Italianish, a devout man, and one that feared God with all his house, and gave much alms to the people, and prayed God always. The same saw in a vision openly, about the 9th hour of the day, an angel of God entering into him, and saying unto him, Cornelius. He looked upon him, and was afraid, and said, Lord, what is it? He said unto him, Thy prayers and thine alms are come up into remembrance before God. And now send men unto Joppa, and call for Simon, whose surname is Peter, which is at lodging with one Simon a tanner, whose house lieth by the seaside. He shall tell thee what thou oughtest to do. And when the angel which spake to Cornelius was departed, he called 2 of his household servants, and a devout soldier of them that waited upon him, and told them all, and sent them to Joppa. On the next day after, when these were going on their journey, and came nigh unto the city, Peter went up into a chamber to pray about the 6th hour. And when he was hungry, he would have eaten. But while they made ready for him, he fell into a trance, and saw heaven open, and a vessel coming down unto him, as it had been a great linen cloth, knit at the 4 corners, and was let down to the earth, wherein were all manner of 4-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and worms, and fowls of the air. And there came a voice unto him, Rise, Peter, slay and eat. But Peter said, O no, Lord, for I never ate any common or unclean thing. And the voice spake unto him again the 2nd time, What God hath cleansed, that make not thou unclean. This was done thrice, and the vessel was received up again into heaven. But while Peter was cumbered in himself, what manner of vision this should be which he had seen, behold, the men that were sent from Cornelius inquired after Simon's house, and stood before the door, and called, and asked whether Simon, whose surname was Peter, were lodged there. While Peter was musing of the vision, the Spirit said unto him, Behold, the men seek thee. Arise therefore, and get thee down, and go with them, and doubt not, for I have sent them. Then went Peter down to the men that were sent unto him from Cornelius, and said, Lo, I am he whom ye seek. What is the cause wherefore ye are come? they said, Cornelius the captain, a just man, and one that feareth God, and of good report among all the people of the Jews, was warned by an holy angel to send for thee into his house, and to hear words of thee. Then called he them in, and lodged them. The next day after went Peter forth with them, and certain brethren of Joppa bare him company. And the day following came they to Caesarea. Cornelius waited for them, and had called together his kinsfolks and special friends. And as it chanced that Peter came in, Cornelius met him, and fell down at his feet, and worshipped him. But Peter took him up, and said, Stand up, I am a man also. And as he talked with him, he went in, and found many that were come together. And he said unto them, Ye know that it is not lawful for a man being a Jew to join himself or to come to a stranger. But God hath showed me that I should call no man common or unclean. Therefore have I not doubted to come, as soon as I was sent for. I ask you therefore, for what intent have ye sent for me? Cornelius said, It is now 4 days ago. Then fasted I, and at the 9th hour I prayed in my house, and behold, there stood a man before me in a bright clothing, and said, Cornelius, thy prayer is heard, and thine alms deeds are had in remembrance in the sight of God. Send therefore to Joppa, and call for one Simon, whose surname is Peter, which is at lodging in the house of Simon the tanner, by the seaside. The same, when he cometh, shall speak unto thee. Then sent I unto thee immediately, and thou hast done well, that thou art come. Now are we all here present before God, to hear all things that are commanded thee of God. Peter opened his mouth, and said, Now perceive I of a truth, that God hath no respect of persons, but in all people he that feareth him, and worketh righteousness, is accepted unto him. Ye know of the preaching that God sent unto the children of Israel, preaching through Jesus Christ, which is Lord over all, which preaching was published throughout all Jewry, and began in Galilee after the baptism that John preached, how God anointed the same Jesus of Nazareth with the Holy Ghost and with power, which went about and did good, and healed all those that were oppressed of the devil, for God was with him. And we are witnesses of all that he did in the land of the Jews, and at Jerusalem, whom they slew and hanged on tree. Him God raised up on the 3rd day, and caused him be openly showed, not to all the people, but to the chosen witnesses of God, even unto us, which ate and drank with him, after he was risen up from the dead. And he commanded us to preach unto the people, and to testify that it is he which is ordained of God, a judge of the living and of the dead. Of him bear all the prophets witness, that through his name all they that believe in him shall receive remission of sins. While Peter was yet speaking these words, the Holy Ghost fell upon all them that hearkened unto the word. And the faithful of the circumcision which came with Peter were astonied, because that the gift of the Holy Ghost was shed out also upon the heathen. For they heard that they spake with tongues, and magnified God. Then answered Peter, May any man forbid water, that these should not be baptized, which have received the Holy Ghost as well as we? And he commanded them to be baptized in the name of the Lord. Then prayed they him, that he would tarry there certain days.